All right. We are going to work on 1.3. Get all the stuff we need here. All right, we are on 1.3. All right, 1.3 deals with exponents. Okay, you have any number that looks like this. This is what we call the base, and this is what we call the exponent. Okay, so 3 squared means 3 times itself, 2 times. If it was 3 cubed, it would be 3 times 3 times 3. Now we all know that 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. And 9 times 3 is 27. So it can be evaluated, okay? If I had 5 squared, that means 5 times 5, which is 25. Where is that study record to? Okay. You can also do that with variables. That can mean A times A times A. Now we can go the other way and say, what if I had 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4? Rewrite it with exponents. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 of them, so it's 4 to the 5th. Or if I had negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6, I could rewrite that as negative 6 cubed. That's something I want you to be very aware of. Yeah, I could not write it like this. That would not be the same. Okay? That would not be the same. That means, this right here means 6 cubed and then take the opposite. Whereas this means take the whole thing, negative 6, negative 6, negative 6, and multiply it 3 times. So let's look at something. If I had negative 2 cubed and negative 2 cubed, this means negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which is negative 8. Okay? Whereas this means the opposite of 2 times 2 times 2. And 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, so my answer would be negative 8. Now, in that case, they'd be the same. But I want to show you where they wouldn't be the same. What if I had negative 2 squared and negative 2 squared that way? Okay? So the first one means negative 2 times negative 2. And 2 negatives make a positive. Okay? But the second one means the opposite of 2 times 2. And 2 times 2 is 4, and the opposite would be negative 4. So be very, very careful with that, okay? All right. You can also, they might give you fractions, like if I had 2/3 cubed, that just means 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, and 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Okay? We can do that. All right. Oops. Sometimes I hit the button and it mutes me, and that's not good. All right, new whiteboard. All right, we also have square roots. This is the opposite of the exponents. It's the square roots. Let's see what we can come up with, okay? The square root of 36 is 6 because 6 times 6, or 6 squared, is 36. What's the square root of 0? What times what equals 0 when multiplied by itself? 0. Now, with a fraction, you just separate it. Okay? So you have the square root of 9 over the square root of 16. 3 times 3 is 9, so that's 3. And 4 times 4 is 16, so it's 3/4. That's 16. What's the square root of 100? 10. Now, what's the square root of negative 100? You take the square root of a negative number. Whenever you multiply something by itself, a negative times a negative, or a positive times a positive, it's always going to be positive. You cannot take the square root of a negative number. This is not a real number. But if I had it on the outside, that means the opposite, the additive inverse of the square root of 100. The square root of 100 is 10, and the opposite is negative 10. So there I can't have a negative. So be real careful with that. All right. The second half of this section deals with this silly thing, which is called the order of operations. It is the order in which you do math, okay? Absolutely has to be upheld. It's the order in which you do math. This stands for parentheses. This stands for exponents. This is multiply and divide, and this is add and subtract. Okay? Now, the trick here is the multiplication and division go together. So you have to do all, when you get to this part, it's all multiplication and division from left to right, and this part is all addition and subtraction from left to right. Now, let me explain to you what that means. If I had this problem right here, in order to solve it, in order to simplify it, I have to go through the order of operations. Are there any parentheses? No. Are there any exponents? No. Is there any multiplication or division? Yes, there is. So that is what I do first. Now, is there any addition or subtraction? Yes, there is. So my answer is 11. If you had added 5 plus 2 to get 7 and multiplied by 3, you'd get 21, and that would be an incorrect answer. You have to go by this order every single time. All right? So let's look at another one. What if I had 10 divided by 5 plus 2? You know what? I'm going to get a new whiteboard. Clean one. This is driving me nuts. Okay. What if I had 10 divided by 5 plus 2 times the absolute value of 3 minus 4. Now remember the order. Are there any parentheses or grouping symbols? And yes, there are. An absolute value is a grouping symbol. So that is what I do first. So I don't do anything with this or this or this. But what is going on between what's inside that grouping symbol and 2? I'm going to multiply. What is 3 minus 4? Negative 1. What's the absolute value of negative 1? 1. Okay. Did parentheses. Are there any exponents? No. Multiplication and division from left to right. Here is a division, and here is a multiplication. So we work from left to right. What's 10 divided by 5? 2. Plus, what's 2 times 1? 2. Now, 2 plus 2 is 4. And there's your answer. Okay? All right, let's try another one. What if I had 4 times 3 squared plus 7 minus 2 plus 8. Okay? Parentheses, we have to do that first. So we don't do anything with this, or this, or this. We just look at 2 plus 8. What is 2 plus 8? 10. Okay? Now, exponents. Don't do anything with this, don't do anything with this, don't do anything with this. What is 3 squared? 9. Now, multiplication from left to right would be just this, so 36 plus 7 minus 10. And now addition and subtraction from left to right. So the first thing we would do is 36 plus 7 right here, which is 43, and then 43 minus 10 is 33. And there's your answer. Okay? All right, let's try one more of these order of operations. What if I had 4 times 3 squared? That's what I just did. Never mind, let's try 1/2 times 4 plus, in parentheses, 6 divided by 3 minus 7. Now remember, this is our order of operations. Okay, so I have to do what's inside parentheses. And inside parentheses, there's more than one thing to do. So do I do the division or do I do the subtraction? Well, division, I'll do this first. Okay, so 1/2 times 4 plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now I can finish my parentheses. 1/2 times 4 plus a -5. You have a +2 and a -7. You're combining them. There's different signs. You subtract one from the other and keep the sign of the larger number. Okay. Now, I've done my parentheses. I've done my exponents. So now I'm going to do my multiplication. 1/2 times 4 is 2. Plus the -5. Now I can finish it out. Again, different signs. Subtract and keep the sign of the larger. All right. That's 1.3. Now, I'm going to go, oh, no. There's one more thing about 1.3. Let me show you one more thing about 1.3. 1.3 might give you something like this. M equals -4, N equals 5, P equals -6, and Q equals 25. And then they're going to give you M plus 2N over 4P. And they want you to simplify. So what they're expecting you to do is to replace, you're going to replace M with -4. You're going to replace N with 5. And you're going to replace P with -6. All right. On top, I have -4 plus 2 times 5. According to PEMDAS, I would do the multiplication first. So I get -4 plus 10. Okay, I'm just doing the top first. On top, now I can add, and I get 6. Subtract the smaller from the larger, keep the sign of the larger. Now, on the bottom, all I have is 4 times -6. So that is just going to be -24. Hold on just one second. This is Elizabeth Morris. Yes. Uh-huh. I would call Shelley Rupard's office. They're the ones who would get that. Oh, wait. Oh, then call Matthew. Because, well, we took it out of GST because so many people were freaking out thinking they had to take a math test. So it's just given, it's given as an option. So we need to start with him to find out what, where, that kind of thing. And if you don't, let me know if you need me to get in there to find out, okay? Bye. So sorry, I'm back. Okay, and I hope you already see, I just have to reduce. 6 and 24 is 1 over 4, but I have a positive and a negative, so my answer is negative. Okay, and that's 1.3. All right, give it a try.